Greetings, crafty friends. It's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and I'm very excited to be here supporting Altenew in their February stamp and die release. So again, I did a couple of different samples using the Warm Hugs stamp set. So here you're getting a couple of the close-ups. And so here's actually the Warm Hugs stamp set. You can see it's a little bit different. It's got a background on it, and then some details and some sentiments. So the first thing I did was, this is on watercolor paper, so I've already stamped the orange cream on the watercolor paper, and what I'm doing is inking up the stamp and then spritzing it with a little bit of water so that, again, the background kind of moves a little bit. So now I'm using the sun ray. And the next thing I'm going to do is the raffleberry. I'm going ahead and drying it off in between here. So check out my new base. I was very excited to have received this from Altenew, and it's their new cutting mat that's releasing this month. And again, it's a nice black background, has great measurements. It's got that center block there for A2 cards. You know, again, I was excited to get it because I've tried the glass black mats and I just cannot use them in my studio setup because of the glare. So I thought this mat was perfect. So please leave me a comment and tell me what you think. So here I am kind of pulling out some of the detail pieces. Oh, sorry, got my hair in the way. So just kind of matching up all of those detail pieces. And I'm going to stamp those in black using Altenew's Black Obsidian ink. It's a pigment ink. It's a nice crisp, you know, gives sharp edges. Really pleased with this ink and glad that I purchased it. So again, here I am kind of stamping those details. And again, on the watercolor paper, sometimes you got to stamp things a couple of times just because of the texture. So now I'm trying to figure out where I want to put that sentiment. I am going to stamp it in black using the obsidian ink again. So here I decided to put it on the bottom, on that white space here towards the bottom. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm moving on to my second card. So again, I've already stamped the parrot, and this is actually on Cougar 80-pound cardstock, so it doesn't have the texture of the other. Now I'm stamping the turquoise. And the third one is the warm sunshine. So again, kind of a cooler color theme compared to the warm one on the oranges and pinks. So again, stamping this one twice. So what I decided to do was I wanted a striped textured background, so I dry embossed Altenew's ombre stripes stencil onto my base base cardstock, and then I went ahead and trimmed the printed squares off into a long rectangle with no white space on either side because, again, I wanted to accentuate the ombre stripes stencil. So again, I stamped that label sentiment in the blue again, in the turquoise, excuse me. Just kind of thinking about how I want to set it up. And then I also went back, obviously I did this before the sentiment, but stamped the details. And so there you have it there. I'm just going to go ahead and assemble it with my tape runner. Good thing paper has two sides. You can see I stamped it once and wasn't happy, so I flipped the paper over and just moved ahead and re-stamped. So here I am cutting out a piece of foam tape. I wanted to pop up the sentiment on this particular card. And then I decided to wrap a piece of yellow twine around the other one just for a little bit of interest to embellish it a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it on the card base. So when I'm doing watercolor paper, I always use the tape adhesive on the center, and then I always go back with this tacky flow glue on the very edges because, again, I think it gives it better adhesion around the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and just push that down, and then I'm going to use my acrylic block over the top. Added a drop of glue underneath the bow there. The twine was kind of moving still on me. So again, here's views of the final cards. And again, this is Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and I'm so grateful you stopped by today. Thanks again to Altenew. Please go out and check out my social media sites. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Blogger, and Facebook, all under Terry's Mailbox.